Grand Rising, great day, whatever time it is you're viewing me now. I am so excited and delighted and privileged to be with you. You know what to do: tag and share and tag, tag and share and tag. Let's bring as many people as we possibly can into this digital space. Good morning, Grand Rising to you, Denise. Appreciate you. Tell the husband I say hello and that I love him. Let's pray. Almighty, we are just so thankful and grateful for who and what you are. We are most thankful for in you we live and move and have our being. We're inseparable and indivisible from you. We are thankful, so thankful. Lead us and guide us as we open ourselves up, as we are being expanded, as we are growing. We thank you for greater revelation of secrets that have been hidden, of knowledge and wisdom that must be known. And we praise you for your infinite insight. And we praise you also and thank you also for your interminable support. We are grateful. And we pray this in Yeshua's name by his power, his consciousness. It is so, and so it is. Again, so glad to see all of you today. Might be on just a little bit later than usual, but nevertheless, I'm here. Tag and share and tag and share and tag. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. So grateful again to be with you. Come on in the room, as they say, come on into this wonderful conscious space where we're all interconnected despite what appears in the 3D dimension to be distance within the framework of space and time. Again, what a privilege it is to be with you here today. And rising to you as well, Pastor Jerry Cotton, who's watching us on YouTube. I always like to remind you of Philippians 4. We live in a world with so much challenge. We live in a world with what appears to be opposition. We live in a world where there appear to be so many obstructions. But the truth is to be found within us. And that truth we extract from spiritual principles. And I can do all things through the Christos, through the mind of Christ. And so I want you to type it in the comment section. I can. I can. I can with power overcome. I can with the anointing make it through. I can master my feelings and emotions. I can deal with any hatred that may be aimed at me. I can deal with any toxicity that may be in proximity. I can. Type it in the comment section. I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Mm-hmm. I can. I can. I can endure. I can overcome. I can. I can be the best version of myself. I can arise from wherever I am located. I can rise above it all. Come on, type it in the comment section. I can. Speak it out loud. I can. We don't use the antonym of that word, which is can't. Here, we only use the word can. I can. I can. Yes, I can. I can love myself in a healthy way. I can love others who misuse and abuse me. Come on. Ooh, I can. is such an empowering series of words. I can. I, the personal self, can. And then you put behind can what you can do. I can manifest wealth and riches in my house. I can manifest peace. I can effectively, at an optimal level, partner with the Almighty God. I can have the deepest, greatest love I've ever experienced up until now. Come on. I can speak it. I can. We reverse anything that appears to be opposite of I can in your heart and in your mind. Anything that appears to be opposite of I can in your reality. We declare and decree in unison, my, that I can. Oh, it's such a powerful thing to know that you've been empowered with I can. You've been empowered with I can. I'm going to say it again. You've been empowered with I can. The next thing I like to remind you of is that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are extracted and created from the blueprint of an infinite being that doesn't make you powerless, that makes you powerful. And so I want you to type in the comment section now, I am powerful. Type it and speak it out loud. You ought to feel something move through your spirit being, through your spirit essence. I am powerful. Come on, type that in the comment section. I am powerful. That's right. Speak it out loud. Speak it out loud. Declare and decree this out loud. I am powerful. Oh, what a wonderful thing to know that I am powerful. What a privilege it is to be powerful. What an advantage it is to know I am powerful. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Despite what situations look like, and despite what situations feel like, and despite what situations seem like, I am powerful. I am again honored to be with you today. I hope that all is well with you today. Check in right quick before as we're discussing what you know is coming up next. And I'm asking you now what's in your cup. I want you to tell me what's in your cup. And as we're telling each other, sharing with each other what's in our cup, I want you to let me know how you're doing. As you can see today, I'm just drinking water. I'm drinking water, just plain old water. That's what's in my cup today. There's no judgment here. I just like to know what people are sipping on and what people are nibbling on while they're watching me. That's all I want to know. So what's in your cup today? I've shared with you what's in mine. Agua H2O is in my cup. So what's in your cup? Talk back to me. What's in your cup? And you can also let me know with a check-in as to how you're doing today. Let's see. Pastor Cotton says he is well and peaceful, wonderful. And he's got electrolytes. He's got electrolytes. All right. Very healthy. Good stuff. Anybody else want to share what's in their cup on today? Anybody else want to share what's in their cup on today? Thank you for sharing that. So there's a couple of us. We got kind of a healthy situation, a healthy thing going on here in terms of what's in our cup on today. Awesomeness, awesomeness. Pamela says she's got coffee in hers. Wonderful, wonderful. Very good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank y'all for sharing today. What's in your cup? I appreciate that so dearly. Today, we're going to start a new series, and we're going to look at the book of Romans. Let's look at the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 28. chapter 8, verse 28. We could all pretty much quote that text, but we'll go ahead for the sake of appearances and read it to you on today. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. I'm going to spend a few weeks building and empowering you uh, from the subject matter that I think it's relevant for your experience. And I'm going to pose it with a question of sorts. Uh, do you know? Do you know? That's the question I'm going to be asking. And I hope to provide enough insight for you to be able to answer definitively, clearly, and accurately answer the question of what you know. Do you know? Question mark. So I want you to type that in the comment section. Do you know? As a question. Do you know? Or you can make it personal and say, do I know? Do I know if you want to? I might change it to that instead of do you know? Do I know? You can type either one in the comment section. Almighty, we thank you for this time that you've granted us. Our hearts are open to be led and guided by you, Almighty. And we bless you for all of the beautiful, magnificent evolutions that will take place because of this powerful wisdom and knowledge that you are sharing through your vessel, through your partner on today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeshua's name, by his consciousness, it is so, and so it is. Do you know? Do you know? I'm going to share a quote with you from one of my favorite metaphysical teachers in just a few minutes. And then we're going to talk about exactly what it means to know. I'm going to maybe say something that's going to be a little bit different in terms of how this subject is typically broached or presented, but it's all in the interests of deeply stimulating potentially dormant places of your understanding and dormant places of your consciousness to make you more aware in the moment of what you know and what it is that you are required to know to be a bridge or become a bridge to take you to the version of you that God has inspired you to see as it relates to who you are. Put this quote up for you to consider. Man moves in a world that is nothing more or less than his consciousness objectified. End quote. Neville Goddard. This is a powerful quote for our discussion today because, and I'll get a little bit deeper into this, our consciousness is objectified. That's number one, which is an extremely powerful principle. Again, I know this is different for some of you all, and I know the observation of uh, biblical texts and some of the accurate textual criticism of the text. And when we say textual criticism, we don't mean cynicism. We mean a good analysis of scripture where you use as many facets in terms of study based on education to come to a conclusion of interpretation or a conclusion concerning meaning. And what I would espouse to you today is going to add layers to that, because our thematic text today, the crux of it is talking about what we know. We got to also understand what the great metaphysical teacher is telling us, and that is, it is not just up to the Almighty to manifest reality for us. It's not just up to the Almighty to do that. At some point in time, if you don't understand and recognize that whatever it is you're conscious of objectifies or becomes crystallized in what we call three-dimensional reality, then you're going to constantly be waiting on a God in a distant place to do stuff for you. And that will work inconsistently. That would work, I should say, consistently, inconsistently, and consistently sporadically. It's because the missing pieces of the puzzle are, number one, our identity, number two, our role, and last but not least, number three, understanding from a cosmic perspective, not a religious perspective, but a spiritual perspective, how things really work. So I'll say this as I, prepare to get into the presentation, that the objectified things that you see in your world, the reality that is your physical reality, is one that you had a direct hand in creating. It is one that you have created yourself. And there is a lot of confusion. And I used to have some of this cognitive dissonance as it relates to how things operate, despite the education I had and the many years of study. I had some cognitive dissonance as to how things work. The reason why people are hitting and missing, the reason why people are seeing some prayers answered and other prayers not answered, the reason why they're declaring and decreeing and getting results one day and the next month it seems like nothing is happening. It's because there are pieces to the puzzle of clarity, the puzzle of understanding, the puzzle of knowledge that's missing. And understand that these pieces to the puzzle of knowledge, this understanding that I am talking to you about today, has everything to do with the world that you live in, because it is based on your knowledge and based on your understanding of how things work that is directly reflecting in your world. It is directly reflecting in your reality. And this message, questioning what you know, is going to cause you from within to analyze, well, what do I really know? What do I really know from a traditional theological perspective? What do I really know from a revelatory theological perspective? What do I know from a personal perspective concerning self, self-concept, self-love, self-image? I know we put all of the onus on the Almighty, but we have largely devalued and depreciated the truth that the Almighty has created us to operate and function like the Almighty. And therefore, if you don't know who and what you are, if what you know is very, very limited, then guess what's going to happen? what's going to happen is that the world you reflect is going to be based on what you don't know, or what you know in a limited capacity or a limited fashion. I also quote from the author Frank Herbert, who says, "The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something that we do not understand." End quote. The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we do not understand. End quote. So I ask you a question today. Do you want to know more? And type your reply yes or no in the comment section. Naturally, I would not be offended at the no's. But do you want to know more? Type that in the comment section, a yes or a no in response to that. Do you want to know more? Let me see. Let me hear from you. Do you want to know more? We've got one yes. Wonderful. Got yeses coming in on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for your feedback and for your response. So, understanding and knowing more should be a top prerogative for us. So, I'm going to get a little bit into some philosophy here in just a few minutes that, from a philosophical standpoint, explains to us how we can know and what we know. This is not scientific. This is not from the perspective of the brain, although it is, even though it's a philosophical approach, it yet has some connectivity to the science of how the brain operates. But I'm going to give you a few things to think about from the branch of philosophy that deals with the nature and scope or the limitations of knowledge. And that's the word or the branch called epistemology. It is the theory of knowledge, epistemology. Now, I always like to give you information while I'm giving you inspiration, because if you just walk away with emotion, if you just walk away with inspiration, void or detached from information, you're really just empowered or encouraged for the moment, or maybe a day or two after that, those subsequent moments. But there is no long-term, long-standing evolution, transformation, or ascension for you. So I want you, from a philosophical standpoint, to see what knowledge is. The question is, what is knowledge? How is knowledge acquired? What do people know? How do we know what we know? These are the four basic questions of epistemology. And so we'll discuss the basic fundamental scope of epistemology and how it explores general knowledge. General knowledge in epistemology discusses prepositional knowledge, known as knowledge that. This is generally expressed in declarative sentences, indicative propositions. I'll explain all that. I won't bore you. Versus knowledge how. The knowledge of how. So, for example, a declarative knowledge, which is knowledge that, is an example is 1 + 1 = 2. We are declaring, or in declarative or indicative knowledge, saying 1 + 1 = 2. That's what knowledge that is. Knowledge how is the actual addition formula. It's the formula that has been created that defines knowledge how. Now, I don't want to cause you to have a brain overload, but I am going to say this. You do understand that 1 + 1 = 2, because this is what we decided numerically and symbolically as a part of a mathematical knowledge system and knowledge equation is what we decided to accept as truth. I want you to hear me real clearly. I'm going to say that again. 1 plus 1 equals 2 because somehow, some way years ago, when they were deducting or deducing from a mathematical standpoint what they perceived to be good mathematics, proper mathematics, in terms of being able to quantify things, they decided 1 plus 1 equals 2. But it is very possible that should we meet another species from another planet someday, that in their world, 2 plus 2 could equal 2. Just something for you to consider. So here are a few methods mankind has used to gain knowledge, The methods mankind has used to gain knowledge. I'm going to share a few of those with you. Are you with me? Are you ready for me? Type I'm ready. Let me know if you're ready for me. Let me know if you're ready for me. I got to give you some good stuff. When you come here, you're going to be educated. It's going to be just a whole lot of shana. No, you're going to be educated. Are you ready? Are you ready for me? Type I'm ready if you're ready. Thank you, Destiny. Destiny says she's ready for it. She's like, bring it on. All right, here we go. These are a few methods that man has used to gain knowledge. So we use reason and logic. And that's kind of what I just described in terms of how we came up with the mathematical equation or the mathematical formula. Really, it's the mathematical rules and the mathematical definitions. We use reason and logic, which again are functions of your brain. I believe that your mind is invisible in spiritual, but it controls the physical apparatus of the brain, prefrontal cortex, all these other things that are components of the brain, give us the ability to have reason and logic. And how and why we have reason and logic is a neuroscience conversation that we won't get into today. But we use reason and logic to determine what we believe is knowledge. The next method is mathematical proof, again, which is what I just discussed. So somehow, some way, somebody decided that one object added to another object equals 2 objects. So to them, that's mathematical proof. And I will agree with scientists and mathematicians concerning this. I do believe that mathematics is the language of the universe. I'm going to say it again. I do believe that mathematics is the language of the universe. It's already been proven on a global scale that mathematics is universal. And it is universal in terms of its communicative abilities because, again, the numerical rules that I just explained from a rudimentary standpoint are standard across our globe, across the planet Earth. So that's why even if you can't speak Russian and even if you can't speak Chinese, they're using the same mathematical equations and formulas. Many of these people can collaborate in their work through the language of mathematics. Then we've got a scientific method. The long and short of it is scientific method uses processes to determine whether they believe something is valid. This is usually done with a lot of experimentation. Again, knowledge comes from these methods. Trial and error method. We use that on a day-to-day basis. We try something. If it works, we say, oh, that worked. If it fails, we say, oh, that fails. But again, I want you to understand that your trial and error method can be subjective. It can be very subjective because what you try and works, and it works for you, somebody else may try it and it doesn't work for them. Did you catch that? So even that is a subjective experience. So let me use a teaching point here. Just because something worked or did not work for you doesn't mean it won't work for other people, or doesn't mean it will or will not work for other people. All right. The next method we use are algorithms, which is very popular today. An algorithm is basically a sequence of instructions used to solve problems. Well, the computer world, the internet world, the AI world runs on algorithms, program sequences of instructions that determine outcomes, that predetermines outcomes. Let me tell you something, family. Uh, you can't be oblivious to what's going on in the world. And I've got going to admit that I insulated myself in this season. A lot of the stuff I used to connect with and stay connected with, I don't, because I'm working on me and I'm working on developing my awareness, but I still try and stay in touch. And I say that because if you are ignorant of what's going on with artificial intelligence, you're going to be behind. Artificial intelligence is already starting to fulfill what we have seen in what we thought were science fiction movies. We thought they were science fiction movies like The Terminator, The Machines. And then, of course, there's a powerful, powerful series out called The Matrix. One day I might do a series on The Matrix, because The Matrix was created with a multiplicity of uh, religious truths, religious perspectives in it, which in essence still are a reflection of reality and a reflection of inner divinity and a reflection also of prophecy. So we've got AI that can take an algorithm that can be created as an algorithm, hear me, and evolve. So innately within its programming is the ability to learn. Wow. When computers first hit the scene in the modern world in the 40s and 50s, it didn't have this ability in the 50s and 60s and 70s. Computers did not have this ability. This new species, and that's what it is, new technological species of artificial intelligence, has the ability to evolve. And what's happening before mankind's eyes is that it is evolving at times unbeknown to its creator. So an algorithm is another method of how we receive knowledge. Experience. Everybody type it in the comment section, experience. Type it in the comment section, experience. This is why AI is putting people out of jobs too. There are thousands and thousands and thousands, really, when it's all said and done, there'll be millions of jobs that artificial intelligence will be doing. And it's already begun in our world today. Artificial intelligence is replacing people, and it can do the job in some respects more efficiently than people. What we call science fiction, hear me, family, has never been fiction. And this is, let me pause and say this. Let me pause and say this, family. Wow, I feel it so strong. The reason why, if you hear theories that sound outlandish and far-fetched, the reason why you should not let people talk you out of uh, diligently analyzing fiction, even when people say the revelation you received is fiction, it's because, number one, many times people perceive something to be fiction because in their world, it isn't reality. And in the world around them, they don't know it to be reality. I love, to talk about Stephen Jobs. I'll give you an example. For example, what Stephen Jobs did in revolutionizing uh, technology through Apple phones, which is essentially a computer in your hand, was once considered to be fiction that you could see in a book. And it was considered to be fiction by the consensus of the human race because it had not seen in its modern incarnation as a species technology like this. And they thought their imagination produced fiction, which could never be translated into three-dimensional physical reality. But what they didn't understand was that they were a divine species. And once you open up the gates of awareness to possibility, which is what many times these movies have done, then you stimulate dormant centers of creativity that's always been in us. The imaginative experience causes us to reflect on the possibilities of this kind of technology, hear me, until the revelation is revealed that births new knowledge of how what I saw in a movie, or how what I saw in a book that was considered to be fiction, or how what I saw in my mind or in my dreams that I hadn't seen anywhere exists. It's real. And this is exactly how you get it done. Wow. Madam C.J. Walker, who's responsible for creating relaxers, the first Black woman millionaire, had a dream about the formula that she produced. George Washington Carver had a dream, and he believed a personal experience with God that revealed various applications concerning the peanut. That means before these two individuals had divine connection and divine experiences where that revelation was revealed to the world outside of them, it appeared to be fiction. So now that poses the question while I'm teaching this, is there really such thing as true fiction? Or is it that what we're calling fiction is technology that has not yet been revealed? Is what we're calling fiction ability and power to produce that which we consider to be fictitious that has not yet been revealed? Wow. Are y'all with me today? Hear what I'm saying? And this is let me look at my time. This is something for you and I to directly consider, to personally consider. Some of you all have ideas, some of you all have thoughts. Hear me. You've dreamt it, you imagined it, and your experience said to you, since we're on experience, your past experience, what we call past experience, said to you, hear me, well, I could never have that. I could never be that. I could never do that. And some of you all have witnessed some things that you thought you could never have or never do. You've witnessed it in your world. It actually happened. As ancient phraseology would say, it came to pass. I want you to understand it is that way with all things. I'm going to say it again. It is that way with all things. Hear me. That version of you that you've seen, that you haven't experienced in this three-dimensional world is a real you. I've been trying to teach you that. What you aspire to do, there is a real you doing it. The question is, will you open your heart up and stop seeing it as fiction and start recognizing that it's reality? And that if I start attaching a faith to it, then it will emerge in my world. Okay, I didn't mean to get into that. The next thing is argument from authority. These are opinions and deductions of experts. So, for example, in science, they have peer reviews. In science, in the medical world, they have medical journals. And what these are professional groups and networks of people that the general public generally doesn't have knowledge of. And what they do is they go back and forth with their, experiments, sharing to their own personal peer groups. So other specialists or other professionals in their field can study their findings, study it by whatever methods they use to produce empirical data that may confirm the truth or the potential of the truth of what their peer wrote. So, for example, I love Terrence Howard. I would never have anything negative said about Terrence Howard. He was on the Joe Rogan show not long ago, and he brought up Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is a scientist, and he kind of made it seem like Neil deGrasse Tyson was somewhat indifferent and brushed him off. But Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is a bona fide scientist, responded like a couple of weeks ago, and I watched his video response, and he was explaining the scientific method. So once I heard his side of the story, I said, okay, it doesn't take anything away from Terrence Howard's brilliance, but he was explaining how it works in the scientific world. And he was saying the critique that I offered him is the critique my peers offer me, and the critique I offer other peers. This is the process things go through to eventually get to a place where it is accepted as bona fide knowledge. Am I making any sense thus far? So that means other specialists, for example, in the medical field, they discuss if there's a new surgery technique they're considering. The person who comes up with the idea is going to first bounce it off other people in that field to get feedback. Then they're going to do some experimentation. And then eventually they're going to get to a point where they're going to try the actual surgery. One of the issues I had, and I don't want to get on my soapbox with this, one of the issues I had during COVID-19 is that I knew that the COVID-19 shots did not go through the proper or the typical process that a drug has to go through before it gets to the marketplace. How did I know this? Not just from my own research, but from talking to people who were in the field. So what the general public doesn't understand is that there are a lot of sicknesses, there are a lot of physical complications. That's the best way of saying it. That's occurring right now that the medical community is connecting to the shot. Well, it's no surprise to me because you didn't do enough years of research. And I'm on my soapbox, so can I stay on my soapbox for a few minutes? I'm going to tell you why they rushed the cure to the general public. It wasn't about your safety. It wasn't so much a concern about your life. It was a concern about their money. They didn't want to pay people to be at home. Some businesses, not all, some businesses were hemorrhaging by the millions. That's why some of these businesses are closing to even up to this day. They took a hit during COVID and didn't recover from the hit. So there's a cure that needed to be rushed to the general public because the United States of America's God is money. All right, I said that. I'm going to move on. Some of y'all might not like that. All right, the next method mankind uses to gain knowledge is testimony of witnesses. Okay, these are people who've experienced certain things who sit down and share what the experiences are. The next thing is observing the world in its natural state. We see this a lot, for example, in the animal kingdom. What we see in the animal kingdom is done in the plant kingdom and other kingdoms that exist. Observation and notes are taken. Observation and notes are taken by people who've witnessed, for example, the behavior of lions. And there may be some theory that was espoused 50 years ago that is now debunked by modern observations of the lion species. And I want to say this again for station identification. I want you to understand that some of the stuff you read in the commentaries from the 18 and 1900s biblically are being debunked today. You know why? Because with the evolution of the species comes the evolution of its research abilities and techniques, which means we can get deeper and find out and discover things our predecessors didn't, that shows us information that our predecessors did not know. I just thought I'd drop that on you. The next thing is observing the world in its natural state. All right. Acquiring knowledge embedded in one's language, culture, and tradition. This is also considered to be a method. And I want you to understand that within every language, hear me, family, is the culture is encoded in the language. The symbolism is encoded in the language. So, for example, when you start studying ancient Hebrew and Greek, you'll realize that, of course, there's got to be a cultural element that defines what something means in the alphabet, that defines what a word means in that particular culture and tradition. And a lot of times when things are translated, this is why meaning is lost, because the translator is trying to make it applicable to the people that the translator is translating the language for. And when they do that, if they don't do it in terms of an equivalency in meaning, then you will think today that that word that's interpreted the way it is today is the same the way it was interpreted then, and it's not the truth. My God, I just said something powerful. So there's some of this stuff that's been translated, that's been poorly translated. Recent translators are saying, no, this was a verb or this was a noun, and it should have said this, that, and the other. If you get stuck on what was, you will never know the revelation of what is. I'm going to say it again. If you get stuck on what was, you'll never know the revelation of what is. I'm going to say it one more time. If you get stuck on what was, you'll never know the revelation of what is, which means you'll never know the revelation of now that really is, and I'm going to make up something, the isness of that reality in terms of the intention of what that person meant when they wrote it, which in many respects has nothing to do with the way a subjective translator translated it. I was just sharing this conversation with a loved one recently to help them to understand that Christian interpretations of the Torah, which is the Old Testament, is totally different than Jews' interpretation. And these are supposed to be people who represent the original writers. I've taken classes on Judaism. They'll make it plain. What they say about this text is not what we say about this text. What they say is messianic. We don't say that's messianic. That's not even what that writer meant when he wrote it. Lastly, Jews believe that a lot of portions of their Torah are fiction, not truth. I'm going to leave that for you. The next thing is dialogical inquiry. Dialogical inquiry. What is dialogical inquiry? Dialogical inquiry is conversations, basically debate or discussions. So this is what the ancient philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristophanes, so many of these ancient philosophers, many of their writings are dialogical inquiry. They are literal discussions that they're having about their philosophy, about whatever, whether it's philosophy about anthropology, the study of man, or whether it's a philosophy about theology, the study of God, or whether it's philosophy about nature, whatever it is they were discussing, they talked about it to other philosophers. Again, iron sharpens iron, in the hopes of not just proving a point or making a point, but growing in the course of the conversation, hearing the perspectives of other people in other fields that would help sharpen and improve them. Wow. The next one is enlightenment from meditation. I want you to type the word in the comment section, meditation. Type meditation in the comment section. Type meditation in the comment section. Type the word meditation in the comment section. Do you realize this is another method where people gain knowledge? Is through meditation. Type the word meditation in the comment section. Meditation is going to lead to the last thing I said. I want you to understand the reason why I teach meditation and the power of meditation is because it puts you in connection with your divine self, your spirit mind, but it also amplifies the heart and the mind of the great I am, the creator, the source, the sustainer of everything that is a part of you and it's one with you. You can hear your spiritual self better and you can hear the Almighty better when you learn to meditate. And from this meditate, you create a certain kind of discipline and empowerment over your conscious mind, your conscious thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings. Am I making any sense? And from this state of consciousness, when you really learn how to meditate, and when you learn how to quiet the mind, and when you learn how to develop and sharpen your awareness, it makes you more available to knowledge and information, guidance and instruction. So there's a lot of knowledge that has been revealed from people in the present and people in the past in meditation, through meditation. Which leads to the last method of study, illumination and revelation from a divine source. Illumination and revelation from a divine source. That's the last method that I'm going to mention here from epistemology. Illumination and revelation from a divine source, which means that people believe they received instruction from God, from an almighty source or an almighty being. All right. So we do have to be careful with that because, some of this stuff is just, again, it's us. It's not necessarily the almighty. But then there are some people, again, who through meditation or through forms of prayer or their belief systems have connected, have opened themselves up to hear the voice of the almighty, and knowledge about technology, knowledge about family, knowledge about various spiritual or physical principles. Like I said, George Washington Carver basically gives the Almighty the credit for teaching him about the peanut, the world or the microcosm of the peanut. There are many, 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 many such people down through history who've heard something speak from within, whether it's through a dream or a vision or while they were in an awakened state, and led them and guided them down the pathway that brought them to optimal results. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed me sharing some of the methods that have been used down through time to gain knowledge. So epistemology is going to investigate knowledge and its relation to belief and truth. So let's discuss the word belief. Let's discuss the word belief. Type the word belief in the comment section. 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 Let me share what belief is. This is the psychological definition of belief. Belief is the psychological state in which an individual holds a proposition or premise to be true. Again, this is a psychological definition. I'm going to say it again. Belief is the psychological state in which an individual holds a proposition or premise to be true. So let me pause here. This is why I have to do these things in series, because when stuff like this comes up, I want to be able to, expound or expostulate on it properly. I want you to type, the next thing I want you to type is this. Belief is reality. Type that in the comment section. Belief is reality. Type that in the comment section. Belief is reality. I want you to type that in the comment section. Belief is reality. I'm waiting on it to come up. I'm waiting on it to come up. Belief is reality. So you've heard from the Old Testament text, and there are different writers that have expounded on the power of belief and the power of faith. And my favorite one is, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. And then Yeshua comes back in Mark 9:23 and says, all things are possible to him that believeth. And notice that him that believeth has nothing to do with any particular religious system or whatever. That is whoever believes. Possibility, which translates into reality, is directly connected and predicated on what you believe. So now we're going to quote again. We're going to take another quote again. I gave you a few biblical quotes. We're going to take another quote again from the great mystic Neville Goddard. And this is what he said. To be conscious of being poor while praying for riches is to be rewarded with that which you are conscious of being, namely poverty. Prayers to be successful must be claimed and appropriated. Assume the positive consciousness of the thing desired, end quote. Now, listen, the consciousness of being poor, family, rooted in that consciousness is a belief in poverty. I'm going to say it again. Rooted in that consciousness is a belief in poverty. In other words, the person that believes that they are poor, who's praying for success, the reason why many times they don't see the success manifest in their lives is because they have a belief that they are really poor. And while they're praying these prayers, they're praying them as a poor, impoverished person who has defined their state of being already as being poor and impoverished. Wow, 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 wow. I know some of y'all probably didn't catch that. So I'm going to say it again. Many times people remain in this category in terms of poverty because the way they see themselves is poor, limited, I don't have, I lack, I'm struggling. So while you're trying to reach up and ask God to help you to come up out of poverty, most of the time, people won't come up out of poverty with a prayer like that because they haven't changed the way they saw themselves. Because you're still thinking that you're poor, so you continue to manifest poverty and you continue to manifest pitiful prayers. Hear me. And you continue to condition your subconscious mind to think while you're asking for more that I have less. So every day you get up with a I have less or I don't have mentality, but you're asking for more. There's a contradiction there. There's a contradiction there. Until you, hear me, ask for more, believing that you already have the more, believing that you already are the more. Until you learn to do that, you're going to continue to sabotage with a deeper faith in you that says, I am not. That's going to continue to sabotage your faith. Again, I'm going to say it again. So, what you've done is, again, what you've been taught to do. I'm asking for more. Listen to this. You say, from the only one that can give me more, but I'm nothing and I'm less. But until you start embracing that you are abundance, until you are embracing that you have a God-given right to be successful and prosperous, and claiming and seizing by faith in the now, and see yourself as that, and start praying in different ways of saying, I'm thankful that this is about to show up in my world, and I'm thankful that you're going to guide me to success, this, that, and the other that I already am, that which exists within me now that I know that I am, that you revealed to me. I'm thanking you for that, but I'm also thanking you for your guidance. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. People are sabotaging their lives based on their beliefs. I'm going to say it again. People are sabotaging their lives based on their beliefs. I want you to type it in the comment section, self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. Type that in the comment section. Self-sabotage. Again, you don't understand that Psalms 23, that is believed that David penned, and I've talked about this before, is not penned or declared or written from a lack consciousness. It was believed that he penned this while his kingdom was in upheaval because his son had betrayed him. and he was running for, so to speak, his life. This is what most people believe was the time it was written. But when he says in Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and want is really translated as lack. So he's saying, I shall not lack. The Lord, the I am, the unlimited one, is my shepherd, my guide, the one who co-provides for me, the one that I'm already connected to, the one I'm in relationship with, the one that I'm one with already. I don't lack. If you have a mentality, hear me real clearly, he could have easily said something different because, again, some people believe from a historical perspective, he wasn't in his palace when he wrote this. He was in the wilderness running for his life. That says to us that he had a depth in terms of conviction. And the spiritual and metaphysical principles you extract from this is you get to determine, no matter what it looks like in the physical three-dimensional world, who and what you are. If you continue to believe who and what you are, regardless of what these circumstances look like, they eventually will line up with what you believe. You know why? Because they've already done that. The proof is in your present lifestyle. Oh my goodness. I'm going to say it again. The proof that your belief is reflecting in your reality right now is in your present world. If you believed everybody was against you, don't be surprised if people start emerging out the woodworks who are against you. If you believe that you're just not liked for whatever reason, don't be surprised. If you believe you can't have true love, that's why you manifest in jokers. If you believe that you're not good enough, that's why you keep bringing people into your life that treat you like you're not good enough. And even when the one that comes along, or the ones that come along who treat you better than you've ever treated you before, who see things in you that other folks have never seen, you skeptical about them. Well, they must want something. They got an ulterior motive. No, they're just pure love, sent by the Almighty to try and help you come up out of the low vibratory state of consciousness that you're in to something higher. Ooh. So I want you to understand this, and I'm going to have to close for today. I'm going to get into some more of this text next week. This is what folks have a difficult time doing. They have a difficult time because of religion understanding it's not up to the Almighty or that other evil fellow that people talk about more than God and themselves. And it's not about other people creating a narrative for you and creating a reality for you. This is about you. And a lot of times we like to deflect or to defer responsibility to other people. You can't deflect or defer responsibilities to other people. Listen to me. One of these days, I assume I'll be in something that leads me to marriage. I already know it's not the responsibility of a woman or anybody else to make me happy. They can enhance my happiness. They can add to my happiness. They can contribute to my happiness. They can even contribute to my growth and development if they're wise and spiritual enough and mature to speak into my life. But happiness is not God's responsibility, the Almighty's. It's yours. Wow. Success is your responsibility. And then he partners with you based on that, what you believe. Other things in this world and in this universe, because of your divine authority and the divine authority of the Almighty, once you start thinking and believing things, it starts automatically rotating and positioning itself in your life to line up with you. I want you to hear me. A lot of people get caught up in the higher level conversation that is believed to have happened between two powerful beings in the book of Job, the Almighty and, you know, this sinister creature, some folks call Satan, the devil, so forth and so on. But what most people miss is that as Job is describing his horrific situation, he says within himself, the thing that I have feared the most has come upon me. The power in that statement is when you really, really look at it, was it Job's faith in his fears that created a door to be open for his life to be wrecked? Is that possible? So everything he said that he'd experienced is what he had feared. Do you honestly think that that's coincidental? Do you honestly think his fears were a non-factor? His belief came into reality. Listen to this, and I'm going to say this. You had probably never heard this before, but I've noticed that people who have a evil consciousness, who blame everything on evil, are the ones who seem to have the most experiences with evil. Do you know why? It's because they believe that that sinister evil thing is responsible for every what they perceive to be bad thing that happens in their life. So they're always manufacturing experiences where they're being opposed. Wow. I hope somebody heard what I'm saying. So maybe you're hearing bumps in the night in your house, and I'm telling you, if you fall out of bed, that was evil. That was the devil. If your electric toothbrush stopped working, the devil just trying to make me mad. He meant, well, you're the one. It's because your belief system creates this for you, these experiences for you. You always interpret it as if it's the opposite of what you want, it's got to be evil. So that's why when the opposite of what you want keeps showing up, it keeps showing up because you believe it's supposed to show up. Some of you all are hearing voices. It's the voice you created of evil. Okay, is this too much? Is this too much? Oh my goodness. Is this too much? Help me here. Is this too much for y'all? I want you to see this. And folks will argue it down. No, that was so and so, so and so. Well, there's another group of people out there who don't interpret these experiences the way you do, and they don't seem to have a presence of this evil like you have. But you've been convinced it's happening because you're more anointed. You've been convinced it's happening because you're so gifted. So if you keep telling yourself that, you keep manufacturing situations where there's got to be an obstacle in your life. Whereas if somebody else sees an obstacle and they interpret it differently, like I do, I know if the obstacle presents itself, I don't have to attribute it to evil. I just manifest a solution when it pops up in my world. I just stay within myself and understand I have authority over it and start releasing in my mind, releasing through an imaginary scene, releasing through prayer, releasing through power, a solution that works out for me. And then the obstacle somehow, some way turns into a stepping stone. But there are other people who don't see it that way. So they will be halted in their progress because they believe that evil was supposed to show up and be able to win. I don't believe nothing is supposed to show up and prevent me from winning. Wow. My. So I ask you the question again. I'm asking you the question right now. I'm asking the question from a genuine place of love. I'm asking you the question from a genuine place. What do you know? What do you know, or do you know? This is what you're going to walk away with today. Do I know? What do I know? And as I close, and I'm going to say a prayer over you, understand this. What you know, family, is what you're seeing in your reality right now. I'm going to say it again. What you know is what you are seeing in your reality right now. Mhm. I'm going to say it again. What you know, you are seeing in your reality right now. Evil didn't put it there. Family and friends didn't put it there. The Almighty didn't put it there. You put it there. So guess what? If you put it there, that means you can release it. I'm going to say it again. If you put it there, that means you can remove it. Again, it goes back to what you're thinking in your heart. It goes back to what you believe that has become your state of consciousness. That's where it all can be traced back to. Mm. Glory to God. I hope somebody's hearing me from the heart today. You have the power to change it. I want you to type it in the comment section when I always have you to type. Type, I am powerful. Come on, type, I am powerful. Type that in the comment section. I am powerful. I am powerful. Hear me, family. And I'm going to say this. This is the last principle I'm going to share with you today. And I'll be reflecting and bringing this up again over the next few weeks. We interpret this text one way, Romans 10:17. So faith cometh by hearing, hearing by the word of God. And yes, if you approached it from a unilateral interpretation, it's trying to tell you that the life of faith that exists in you is directly predicated to the knowledge of God, the knowledge of spiritual principles. But I also want you to know that what you hear can impact in a negative sense what you believe. So if you continue to believe in your in deficiencies, if you continue to believe in lack, if you continue to believe in what people say are qualities in you that need to be improved, if you continue to believe in these areas of your life that you feel you aren't the best in or the best at, then number one, you're going to continue to program yourself to be that. Secondly, you're going to transmit messages into the world that I am that. And then you're going to yourself partner with whatever else is out there to exploit what you believe you aren't. If you're needy, because you have a deficiency of a quantity of love and acceptance and appreciation, then guess who you're going to bring in your world? People similar to you. And on the outside, or the surface or the topical level might appear that they all good until you enter into a deeper friendship or relationship. And then you're going to see sometimes the same stuff that's in you is in them. Why is that? Ooh, why is that? Why is that? I'm gonna say it again. This is what I always tell people when I'm doing personal counseling with them, because I have a trained background in counseling, but I'm a spiritual, metaphysical preacher. So I know that there are concepts that supersede some of the things I've been taught from that world. And what I know is this: you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And let me tell you something. Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible that something you want will appear in your life. But if you're not having evolved into a version of yourself that is capable of appreciating what you want, you won't be able to keep it when it pops up. And I'm gonna give you an example. Can I give you one more? Can I say one more thing about what I just said to you? Yes or no? Because I know I need to log off here. Let me put the giving opportunities up at the bottom of the screen so y'all can be taking advantage of that. Can I share one more thing with you? Can I share one more thing with you? I'm waiting on your responses about what I just said. One more thing with you. I'm always sharing, trying to share things that's going to change you permanently, every area of your life. You apply these principles, your love life will change, your money life will change, your career life will change, your physical bodies will change, your health will change, your associations will change. Listen to this. If you buy a car with a credit mentality, with a lacking mentality, let me say that, lack mentality. Okay, I just want to get enough. Want to get it. If I can just get my foot in the door in this car, glory to God. Just if I can just get my foot in the door, if I can just get this car, I'm going to be good. Now you're saying this from a struggle, lack, barely make it mentality. So this is how you see yourself. You're seeing yourself in a way that I can't afford it, but I just need a way to get it. Hear me. You're saying your subconscious believes that you can't afford it. Your spirit mind believes, not that it believes it's independently of you, you are it, but you programmed it. It knows more than you, but it's going to cooperate with you. So you program yourself to believe it's really unaffordable. It's a strain, but if I can just get my foot in the door. Do you know why many people, after they get their foot in the door, struggle to keep it or can't keep it? You know why? Because the person you really are, the struggling, believe I can't afford to keep it person, is the one who helped that door to be open. The divine just partnered with you. God said, okay, you can use your authority for that. But guess what's going to happen? That you that walks through that door is the same you that owns that car, which means it most likely, not in all cases, but it most likely is going to be a struggle. You know why? Because you believe it's supposed to be this way. And you'll testify, oh, this is a miracle. Oh, I got in this, that, and the other. The Lord opened the door, but you can't even keep the car. You can't maintain the car. You didn't understand that you needed to not only believe that you needed the door open, you needed to believe the door was open, that the car was paid for easily. Whether it was cash or whether it was monthly installments. Again, you are what you think. So you attracted a situation where the door opened, but what you did not attract was a situation because you weren't that person to attract it. Well, not only is the door open, but opportunities are there for you to make that payment easily. But there's a part of you that didn't believe it could be easy, didn't believe it was supposed to be easy. You just prayed and believed for a situation for the door to open. Did that make any sense to anybody? Did that make any sense to anybody? Again, you are thinking from the state of consciousness and the state of mind. Let me just get it. Well, you got it. But you weren't thorough enough to work on your inner self concept to say, not only am I worthy of this, but God is partnering with me that I'm going to master this. So I get my foot in the door and it's mastered. I'll never miss a payment. I'll never be late. You can say whatever it is you believe because that's what you're doing anyway. So some of you all already believe it's going to be a struggle before you get it. That's why it's a struggle, because there's a part of you that said, I'm struggling. So it's supposed to be a struggle. And you're saying this simultaneously or in simultaneity with, if I could just get my foot in the door. Well, you created a situation where you got your foot in the door. But then then the door closed after you got yourself in it. Wow. That's how powerful you are. I'm saying this to you because this is how powerful you are. So what you know determines what you have. What you know determines who you are. What you know determines what has shown up in your life. So you know what that means? I'm challenged and have been challenged by the Almighty, and you're being challenged by the Almighty to revisit what you know and to free yourself of some of this stuff that's just limiting you and binding you, and open yourself up to the dynamic possibilities of a greater you that was given by the Creator by permission. You have permission to be this. Ooh, I sense that so strong. Almighty, I just thank you in this moment for liberation, setting people free. Thank you for reorganizing what we know. Thank you for upgrading and improving and expanding what we know. As I extend my hand as a gesture, thank you for your presence that is being experienced and all who are viewing me and hearing my voice. There's an expansion that's taking place. And I release an awakening in them to know, to expand, to grow in consciousness and grow in awareness. Ooh, I sense that so strong. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By Yeshua's name, his consciousness and power, it is so. And so it is. Did you enjoy the presentation today? Give me some feedback about the presentation. And I want you to share in giving today. Thank you for your love and support. Cash App at the bottom of the screen, Zelle, however you want to show your love and show your support. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Let's see. It is so and so it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, Nick. Who else? Pamela, thank you so much. Thank you. Destiny, appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll take one question if you have it before we part ways from the broadcast. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else? Anyone else? If you have a question, I'll take one question. What you know is of vital importance. I don't want you to get comfortable in what you thought you knew. I have discovered in my journey that the kind of quality of life you live is directly connected and predicated to what you know. The history of the species has proven that the quality of life always improves in direct proportion to what the species knows. Always. So, this is why I'm constantly looking to make deposits, knowledge deposits, spiritual deposits, to expand what you know. This is the last thing I'm going to have you to type. And I'm going to thank many of you all in advance for sharing. I don't do like some other people and fuss and beg. I don't do that kind of stuff because the Almighty supports this service and supports my life. But I give in love, and I give knowing that the seed time principle has worked for me and it works for you. I want you to type in the comment section right now. I want you to type this. I am free. And type free, F-R-E-E. Type that in the comment section. I am free. And type the word free in capital letters, F-R-E-E. Type it. Type it. I am free. See, Yeshua wasn't a religious teacher. He was a spiritual teacher. And only the truth of your divine identity, only the truth of how you fit in the cosmic order of things, only the truth of who and what you really are, only the truth of who and what the Almighty really is going to make you free. And many of you have been limited and restricted, confined, and put in paradigmic or paradigms that are boxes, that are cages, shackled. It's time for you to experience freedom. So own that you're free. Believe, no matter what binding, limiting, shackle type, incarceration thoughts try to reemerge. No, keep resisting it. Keep changing the order of it. Last but not least, keep choosing your freedom. Keep choosing that you're free. They say, you're not this, you're not that. No, keep choosing that you're free. Keep choosing that you're free of limitations. You're free of boundaries. You're free of hindrances. Keep choosing that you're free of whatever damage was once done to you. Keep choosing to be free of opinions. Keep choosing to be free. Thank you, Nick. Whatever you give is appreciated. The Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. Can you see the scrolling ticker? You can use $ AG Green, or you can use $ AG Green Ministries. AG Green Ministries is eventually going to change to something else, but I'm keeping it for a little while longer. $ AG Green, $ AG Green Ministries. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Pamela says, I feel you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick, for thinking about me. Last but not least, I want to remind you all of this teaching that I started. I think I'm going into part 3 this week. Have y'all been enjoying this? I got a few left on. I know some have gotten off. Is anybody enjoying this series right here? Is anybody enjoying this series right here? Anybody enjoying this How to Deal with Toxic Family series? Talk back to me right quick before we sign off. I'm also developing, you'll be hearing about it this week. I stopped doing email for several months. I used to have a nice size email list. I'll restart that in the next week or two, along with my text list, just advancing and expanding some things. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Destiny, you asked me a question. You said it's on YouTube. Let's see. Thank you for the responses. Toxicity is endemic and pandemic. It exists everywhere. We can break free of that. Wednesday nights, I'll pick that up this Wednesday. I'll be back with the 3rd installment in series. Look at all of the positive feedback. Thank you. Were you asking me a question, Destiny? You said on YouTube. If you're asking me if it's on YouTube, it should still be on YouTube. Remember, all my social media handles are AG Green now, all of them, except my personal page. But this page is AG Green now. YouTube is AG Green now. TikTok, I have videos on TikTok. I got one with several thousand views. I'll put out another one this week. I'm on Instagram, AG Green now. Those are the basic places that I post to right now. Okay, yes, it is on YouTube, Destiny. And it's on this page too. If you scroll down, on this page, Destiny, on Facebook, look for, it'll have this, you'll see this probably. It'll show up as this, but it happens on a Wednesday night, so it'll coincide with whatever date last Wednesday was. I did part 2 last week. I'll be doing part 3 this week. All right. I'll be doing part 3 this week. All right. I love you all so dearly, and I'm going to release you with the shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing, nothing broken. It is so, and so it is. You're powerful. You're dynamic. Know it because you are it. Have a great week.